episode of Piecing It Together. I'm your host, David Rosen. And before we jump into this crazy fun episode, I want to remind you all, if you haven't yet, please make sure to subscribe to the show. You can subscribe on iTunes, on Pocket Casts. We were just recently added to Spotify, and we're on pretty much all the major podcast apps. So take a look for us, subscribe, rate and review us. It helps make sure that the show gets heard, gets it out to people, and of course, share us. And also, of course, please send us some feedback. We want to know how you're liking the show. We want to know what you're liking, what you're not liking, and we want to keep making this a better show for you all. But with that being said, I think we should we should jump into this one. This episode is about Bus Party to Hell, which was formerly called Party Bus to Hell. When a party bus heading to Burning Man encounters a gang of desert-dwelling, demon-worshipping cannibals, all hell breaks loose. It's a crazy, over-the-top throwback to the days of blood and boobs from Las Vegas-based producers the Mahal Brothers and writer-director Rolfe Kanefsky. It stars Sadie Katz, Stephanie Blake, and Tara Reid, and was produced here in Las Vegas and features a lot of people I know. Oh, and I should mention this up front, I did the theme song and some of the other music prominently featured in the film. It's a wild movie and should be a fun conversation with return co-host Chad Clinton Freeman. All right, so here we are with another episode of Piecing It Together, and with me again is Chad Clinton Freeman. How you doing, Chad?
I am great. How's it going?
Right on. I'm doing good, man. This is going to be a really fun conversation. This is a wild movie, man. Bus Party to Hell.
Yeah, definitely.
Formerly known as Party Bus to Hell. It's produced by the Mahal Brothers, Michael and Sonny, and directed by Rolfe Kanefsky. And I mean, this is like kind of a throwback to 80s blood and boobs movies, and it's pretty damn fun.
Yes. Yes.
And, I especially wanted to talk to you about this one because, while I was watching it, I was like, this totally could have been a Polygrind movie.
Oh, yes, for sure. Yeah, well, and before we get into this too far, I want to do full disclosure because mentioning Polygrind, there are sort of like Polygrind ties to this movie in a way. And also, well, for one, the DP, Michael Sue.
Right.
He's somebody I actually worked with before, and he's did some projects that did come through Polygrind. And then Devaney Penn, which she's in here. She's really great. And actually, the guy that did like some of the music, like I kind of know that guy, and
right,
he's kind of an asshole. He's kind of like a jerk, but that's not going to affect anything that I be talking about, like the movie and stuff.
Are you talking about me? Because
wait, who is this? What show is this?
This is Piecing It Together with your host David Rosen.
Dave. Oh, yeah. Wait. No, I wasn't talking about you.
Okay.
No. No. The guy that did the theme song on this movie. Oh, he's wonderful. Yeah.
Okay.
Dave.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy. There's a lot of fun music in this movie, along with my track.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. There's a lot of different things with this that make it like total, like party is in the name, mm-hmm. and hell is in the name, yeah. And it's like totally lives up to both those things.
Nice. Yeah, that's I think that's something that the filmmakers would be happy to hear.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, with all that said, I think we should jump in, and I know that with your background with running the Polygrind Film Festival, you are probably going to have a lot of great insight into some of the inspirations that went into a movie like this. And while I love these kind of movies, these blood and boobs movies, I haven't watched nearly as many. I've watched plenty, but not as many. And so I definitely want to throw the ball to you first to kick this thing off with the first puzzle piece. So what are you thinking?
Wait. So you're saying I'm the blood and boobs guy? Is
You
that
are
what you're saying?
the blood and boobs guy.
Well,
I
what's funny though is that like this is a totally uh like dirty and nudity and just like fun in all those different ways, which it is a throwback in that sense, but then also at the same time it's a throwback to 70s. And so actually though, a lot of the inspirations that I found in the movie, and some of those are like really totally, this movie wears it on its sleeve. um those were the main ones that I was going to talk about. But yeah, I do have a lot of things that I did see in this. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, the first one though that really jumped out at me and is actually one of my favorite horror movies, one of the first horror movies that I actually ever saw, and that's Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes. Um, which of course, this one, they're on a bus and they're out in the middle of the desert, and things happen, and then they get, they're kind of stuck in this situation. And whereas in The Hills Have Eyes, it wasn't an RV, it was one of those like trailers that you pull with your car, and they get stuck in the desert, and then of course things happen. But also some of the outfits that some of the party goers were wearing, I felt was like a nod to The Hills Have Eyes as
Sure.
well. And then if that wasn't enough though, they really hit you over the head with the reference to the movie with one of the lines. One of the guys says, uh, because there's like a bunch of mayhem going on, people getting like chopped up, butchered. And one of the guys says something along the lines of the hills not only have eyes, but ears, nose, and throats.
Yeah, that's
Which,
right. Was a pretty
so,
funny line.
yeah, so in this movie's full of like silly like lines and humor like that.
Yeah,
A lot of
lots of
soft
little
work.
one-liners, like total zingers, you know?
Yes, yes. And I mean that's one of the things is that this movie totally wanted to have fun, and it's like that's all that it does. It's not really, there's not really any scares per se, and there's not really any of the rawness or grittiness of like The Hills Have Eyes.
Mhm.
But I think it totally was like, like me, loves that movie and kind of wanted to just pay tribute in a way while doing this fun movie.
Yeah,
But
it's almost like a tribute to those. And by the way, The Hills Have Eyes was the first one on my list as well. But it pays tribute and parodies almost at the same time. And
right.
yeah, and that makes for a fun combination, especially for this kind of movie, which would play so well at like a midnight screening type of situation.
Right. Yeah, I figured like the first three of mine and the first three of yours were actually going to be very, very similar because, like I said, they're the this movie wears its influences and its inspirations on its sleeve, and it telegraphs it
Right.
basically. Which again is like adds like another like layer of fun to it, almost in a meta way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, really, that's about it as far as like that influence. But like I said, it's more of just a tribute, like you were saying, than um, anything else.
Sure, absolutely. And just to like as a little bit of a more modern update on that style, my next puzzle piece is Wrong Turn, which I think
Yes.
also is in that same vein of movies that are inspired by by The Hills Have Eyes, but more of a straight movie. Also, I just saw this right now, but I could imagine when coming up with the list of potential stars, Tara Reid was probably on that list for for Wrong Turn because that was right at the height of her stardom.
Right. Well, and also, I haven't seen Wrong Turn 6,
Hmm.
but evidently Sadie Katz
Yeah, that's
who's a
right.
bus driver in this. She's in Wrong Turn 6. So, yeah, exactly. Definitely in that same. I stopped watching the Wrong Turn movies after I think the second one. I really like the first one though.
Yeah,
But
the first one was great, and I was just gonna say, do you think I need to watch 2 through 5 if I want to catch the sixth one with Sadie Katz?
see, I might seek out the sixth one because I thought she was really great.
Oh, she was. She was
But
awesome.
yeah, but yeah, I think that well, not to get too off of topic, but with the Wrong Turn movies, I feel like that they kind of lost their way. uh, I can't. I think I may have seen the second one and started the third one, but I gave up definitely after that.
Right, right. So, what would your next puzzle piece be?
Well, I'm surprised this wasn't your one that you said, but my again, it was one of the big ones that really leaped off the screen was From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah,
Um,
I had thought of that. Absolutely, absolutely, I had thought of From Dusk Till Dawn.
and and also in many ways because you know the first what is it like first hour or so of From Dusk Till Dawn is they're in the RV
Yeah,
and they don't get trapped per se in the RV. I mean, you've got hostages being held in the RV, so you've got that in the RV though situation for most of the movie, but where they really pulled the inspiration though was from Selma Hayek and the snake dancing,
yeah,
and of course the chaoticness of the club at the end, and some of the creatures even from Dusk Till Dawn. And again, they totally telegraph that hey, we love From Dusk Till Dawn, and we were inspired by it. And there's even a line where the guy says, "What the bald-headed baboon and his Selma Hayek wannabe his sidekick." It's just like again, it's just like it makes it so much fun because it's like, you know, you're already thinking in your head, "Hey, this seems inspired by this movie or that movie," and then they tell you, "Yep, it is." It's like kind of letting you really in on the joke.
it's actually kind of funny. It's sort of a career milestone for me to have my music playing while a topless lady is dancing with a snake. As someone who loved From Dusk Till Dawn when I was younger.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing is that if I remember right, she wasn't even topless in From Dusk Till Dawn.
I doubt
And
it,
then of
and I
course,
haven't seen it in a while, but I
yeah.
doubt it. Yeah.
And then of course Britney Spears did that. So
Right.
now it's like, oh, they take it that step further of, yep, there you go. Here's a topless woman dancing with a snake.
Yeah,
So
this is what you've always
yeah.
imagined, but now we're gonna make it happen.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's one of the things, I mean, seriously, even like indie movies and even like the movies that are really trying to be like fun and bloody and like dirty and just underground,
Mhm.
they don't even have like as much nudity in them as like this movie does. I mean, this one doesn't really hold back that much. I
Right.
mean, like it takes maybe 5 minutes and then boom, there's the nudity.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like, and it's not just one person over and over throughout the movie. There's like lots and lots and lots of nudity. Definitely, if you like nudity,
Yeah.
this is a movie to watch.
And some really good gore, a lot of good practical gore, a little bit of special effects gore too, but there's some really great gore moments in this. I mean, they really do push it quite a bit, which was surprising actually, because nowadays when you see a movie that's supposed to be this kind of movie, it ends up being a little on the lacking side, and people talk
Right,
about it how it's so crazy, but then you see it and you're like, it's not that crazy, but this was pretty fucking crazy.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally. Which maybe one of the things you had down here is a influence, and obviously we know that this was an influence, but reminded me of the Trauma movies.
Right.
Not anyone in specific, but just that style of Trauma, that outlandish, over the top gore, and also lots and lots and lots of nudity.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of the Trauma movies, the Mahal Brothers' last film, Last Day of School, was actually distributed by them, which I did the theme song for as well.
right,
Yeah.
yep.
So my next puzzle piece is one of my favorite movies, actually, which so it's kind of nice to be able to include it. But it's actually a series, the Evil Dead series, which
Yes,
pushes the envelope as far as gore is concerned, and is straight up fun. Like, it doesn't try to hide the fact that it is a funny horror movie, despite it also being just sick and insane,
right,
And
right.
yeah, I mean, like we were just talking about, this movie has plenty of gore. It's, pretty damn funny, and those are the touchstones of the Evil Dead series.
Yes. Yeah, Evil Dead. I wrote down Evil Dead, not specifically Evil Dead, but yeah, I think more so Evil Dead 2.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, totally. That was one of the influences I had. I felt specifically so also with the decapitation and the that stuff with Tara Reid
yeah,
early on.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Which Tara Reid, we should talk about her for a second here. It was pretty funny seeing her do that. I mean, it was totally ridiculous. It was so
Oh
her
yeah.
scenes were so just insane.
Yeah, well, I actually am a fairly big fan of Tara Reid. I think Tara Reid is great. I think she's very, very underrated.
Mhm.
Um, there was actually a movie, you had brought up Polygon already, but there was a movie, Charlie's Farm, which I didn't end up getting to screen it at Polygon, but it was a Polygon entry that was a selection. And Tara Reid starred in it, and she was totally like badass in it.
Yeah.
And of course, she's done the Sharknado,
Mhm.
and I mean, she definitely, I think she loves this sort of stuff. I think she eats it up. And yeah, the scene where she gets killed,
Yeah.
it's just totally awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she's great in this.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mentioned Devaney Penn earlier. I think she's great in it too.
Definitely.
Um, and Sadie Katz. I mean, there's a lot of great actresses in this. Of course, as much nudity is in this movie, I feel that this is a more of a empowering movie for women and for actresses than most people would expect. Is also, that's the thing. Like, some people might hear, oh, it's got all this gore, it's got all this nudity, and they may be like, oh yeah, okay, it's not my thing. Because again, the Trauma movies, not that they were bad, but I don't ever remember them being like that sort of like empowering
Right.
for the women of the movies.
Yeah, women being the heroes, women being the monsters, it's like the women are definitely central to the story and to all the action unfolding on screen, and they're not just side characters.
Right, right.
Yeah. Okay, so what would your next puzzle piece be?
But my other one, again, this one was more of a like a nod to, and obviously one of the favorites of the filmmakers, but Mad Max,
Hmm.
specifically the first Mad Max. Again, just how some of the people were dressed, how some of the cult were dressed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, it's another one of those that totally gets telegraphed with a line of dialogue. They say something about the mob, the cult. One of them calls them a group of desert dwellers that had seen the Mad Max series too many times, or something like that. You're right. So again, it's not like they're, don't watch this movie and expect that you're going to see Mad Max or From Dusk Till Dawn or The Hills Have Eyes, but
Right.
but that obviously there's this fun, loving connection, and they're just kind of paying tribute and having fun with that.
Right.
But yeah, definitely. And along that same line, one of the things that I thought of, and there was no like mention or whatever, but I thought of the Warriors, which again we're going back to a lot of these um, late 70s, and maybe Warriors may have been early 80s. I don't, maybe in the late 70s. I can't remember for sure. But again, the way the people were dressed and stuff,
Yeah.
kind of along that same line with the Mad Max movies.
Yeah, pretty great production design with the costumes and everything like that. I mean, they pulled off that style for sure.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what? My next one really kind of goes along with what you were just saying there, uh, which is it's not specifically a movie. It's more of a style, but it's heavy metal album covers and music videos, which
Mm.
I think are pretty inspired by things like Mad Max and the Warriors. You know,
Right. Right.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's like just like that total like over the top hellscape, like big spikes and blood and
Yes.
skimpy outfits for the women and or
Right.
totally
Right.
topless and and blood and
Right.
fire and all that stuff. I could totally
Like a
picture
gore concert or a
exactly,
gore video.
exactly.
Yeah, which totally like connects back to trauma, because there was a lot of that through the trauma. I'm talking about the trauma heyday of movies
Sure,
with the um uh can't even the Nukem High movies when they first came out.
sure, absolutely. Yeah, no, the trauma movies, which are totally inspired by that, and then Guar, which is inspired by trauma, and then like Slayer and Iron Maiden, all those kind of the imagery used in all those kind of things. I think the makers probably had these posters on their walls when they were in high school.
Right, right. Which also like Rob Zombie was somebody that I thought of specifically with the King Diamond and Rob Zombie,
Mm,
the main cult leader with his makeup and everything,
yeah,
and then also there was a bit of House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects sort of vibe, which of course Rob Zombie's totally inspired by all that too. So
absolutely.
there's like this influence circle, kind of what you're talking about, which at the same time made me think of, because again, I think there's a lot of music, there's a lot of loud music throughout, there's some cool music. It also made me think of the movie Queen of the Damned, um that the party scenes of Queen of the Damned, and also like the soundtrack of Queen of the Damned, which I know a lot of people aren't probably a big fan of that movie, but I love that movie and I love the soundtrack, which Jonathan Davis actually did the soundtrack for it.
That was with Aaliyah,
um
right?
yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
never actually
yes.
got to see that. Yeah.
Oh, well, I love that movie. And actually, in some ways, the creature in this kind of has that Aaliyah vibe a little bit. Just the whole thing with snakes and everything, because that was sort of like the way that the Queen and Queen of the Damned, she was sort of had that snake. I don't remember if there were actually any snakes in the movie, but it just that whole like slithering sort of like vibe of
Sure.
acting and operating. But again, so that's the cool thing is that again, I think with genre movies specifically, there's a lot of influence of like influence bleeding into another movie, and then that bleeding into another, and then that's sort of like this circle. And I felt that with this movie. Again, like I said, you think about somebody like Rob Zombie, and then you think about his movies, and you think about like how his movies are inspired by this other stuff, and then people get inspired by his movies and that other stuff, and so you just got this whole roundabout,
Yeah.
which
A
again just makes movies
celebration.
real. Yeah, and it just makes things that more fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and before I got off into that tangent, you were saying something. I don't know if you remember what you were saying, but I do apologize.
Oh, no, that is completely okay. I honestly don't remember what I was saying, but I'm sure it had something to do with boobs or blood or heavy metal. One of the three. So did you have another puzzle piece?
Yeah, I've actually I got a couple things. One of again. Going back to the like I guess the loud, the punk rock, the rock and roll kind of vibe of this movie, and then the soundtrack, what that reminded me of, and it was Judgment Night, which is another movie that I really love, and it's another movie where it's people in an RV. So I was like, I wonder, because it's almost like in two different ways there, because Judgment Night was great soundtrack. What they did was they actually did songs for the movie, and they took rappers and they put them together with like heavy rock bands.
Yeah, I remember.
And they made,
that was awesome.
Yeah. It was like when that right before the like rap rock thing really took off. It was like one of the early like pioneers of that.
Yeah.
And so again, I love that movie, love that soundtrack. But that was one that just came to mind, and again, might just be I don't know if it was a specific inspiration or not. It's sort of just like the Rob Zombie thing. If the inspiration for both is kind of from the same place, because there weren't any like specific nods that I picked up on or anything like that. And this one, I thought of Requiem for a Dream.
Huh.
Was that wasn't one that you totally thought of?
I did not think of that. That's an interesting one. I want to hear this.
Well, the big scene where you've got an orgy, you've got three things going on at the same time. You've got the orgy going on, you've got the virgin.
I know exactly where you're going now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you had the virgin having sex and turning it into a creature, and then you had them cutting open and digging into a corpse to find the key to the bus. So you had those things going on at the same time, and then you had that big climax. Totally reminded me of Requiem. You know, of course, what was I can't remember all the things going on. I remember there was the ass to ass moment happening with with the heroin like totally fucking up the arm.
Yeah, Jared Leto's arm, and then Ellen Burstyn's like, was that when the fridge was attacking her or something like that? Like that.
Yep.
It's when she's really hitting bottom. Yeah.
Right. So you got these like totally bonkers things going on at the same time, and it's done in a very weird, like almost pornographic way.
That's great. I love that you brought this up, because that is a really great pull right there. I love it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that you know that's one of I think one of the like very classic moments of like cinema of all time.
Sure.
And I love the way, you know, that movie, you had that climax moment, and then I think they were totally, you know, having a tip of the hat to that.
Sure.
And I thought it worked totally great in a totally different way. But yeah.
By the way, that scene scored by my song "Burnout" from my album Head Like Fire.
Nice. Awesome. At that moment, I don't think I was paying attention to the soundtrack.
Yeah, it was just that's that heavy part of the song where it's just like heavy metal, you know, heavy industrial metal. So
Right. Yeah, that there's like so much going on in that moment, and it's so very just like, wow,
yeah,
is this what I'm watching?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's totally like the moment that I could have seen, like if I was watching this movie when I was a kid, that my dad would walk in and be like, "What are you watching?"
Yeah, I can't wait for my parents to watch this.
So yeah, if nothing else, if what we've talked about so far doesn't catch anybody's attention, the orgy, blood, virgin, having sex, turning into a creature, and the body being basically opened up, and the key being found. That's definitely the moment to, if you're going to scan this movie, scan to that.
Yeah, right. If nothing else, make sure you watch that part.
Oh, and speaking of the gore though and the blood,
Mhm.
that one of the films, again, this movie, it brought to my mind a lot of like favorite movies of mine, and one of them that I was reminded of, and it's specifically in the very first like scene where the cult scene where they put the snake in the woman's mouth,
Mhm.
and then they disembowel her and pull it out of the stomach, and then also that big blood orgy scene as well. Totally was reminded of Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood Feast,
Okay.
which total, like, I mean, any gore movie, that was the original gore movie that started gore films, and there's nothing specific besides just the ripping into somebody and pulling things out,
Right.
um, and done so in a sort of like pornographic way, but totally reminded me of Blood Feast.
I could be
Um,
wrong. I think they dedicated it to him in the end credits.
mm,
Yeah,
oh,
they might
maybe.
have. Yeah, which would be
So
appropriate.
it would totally make sense. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I generally watch the credits, but I did not watch the credits.
It's all good.
And I'm totally one of those people that always watches credits, and I actually usually stay in the theater till the movie ends. But yeah, didn't watch them. And there's probably lots of people that worked on this, since this was a Vegas based movie. There's probably tons of people that I know that worked on this, and probably as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, total get the Herschel Gordon Lewis vibe. So total, like I said, no specific like mention or anything like that throughout the movie,
Mhm.
but that's totally, I can tell, a huge inspiration. And I also felt the Saw movies as well. Because what other movie can you think of where they're like actually sawing into somebody and pulling out, a key?
Right, right. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Lots of good body horror. Yeah, that's the end of my list. Did you have any others?
Well, I do actually, and this was actually a movie I hadn't seen, which I was looking on IMDb. I see, so I did actually go look at the credits. I just didn't watch the credits, but
Right.
I was looking on IMDb, and one of the trivia that I guess somebody from the movie had put on there was that the characters in the film, um, Laura, Peter, and Warren, were actually named after the actors of the movie Race with the Devil.
Mm,
And I'd never seen Race with the Devil. I didn't even know what Race with the Devil was, but Race with the Devil was a movie with Peter Fonda, which I love Peter Fonda. And so I actually went and watched Race with the Devil. And what Race with the Devil is it's two couples, and they're in an RV, and they're going cross country. And one night when they're camping, this like weird cult is doing this ritual, and they actually witness somebody getting killed. And so it it totally changes from there, and it's not at all like this movie. It's actually more like, becomes kind of a chase movie in a
mhm.
sense, but was a great movie. And I was actually surprised that I never heard of it, and was actually, I thought it was really cool though that I had found out about this movie through this movie, and then went back and watched it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, that totally something that obviously the writer, or who somebody involved with the movie loved. And then again, I was like, that obviously they sat back and were like, hey, you know the cool movies where there are people in an RV Hills Have Eyes, From Dusk Till Dawn, and then obviously this one, Race with the Devil. They wanted to do a nod to those movies with this one. Obviously, they're in a party bus, not an RV, but same thing.
Yeah.
And again, that's where that, like, I think Race with the Devil specifically was an influence for Judgment Night, because there are things. It's more along the Judgment Night, like how it plays out,
right,
than this one. But also, there's a scene in Race with the Devil where there are snakes in the RV, and I was like, okay, that was another thing that they did in this one, which was a fun scene. Of course, again, nudity. The bus driver, they strip her naked. She's got all these tattoos on her, and then all of a sudden, the tattoos are like creatures inside the RV,
right,
which is another fun scene.
Yeah, for sure. And I was reading a few reviews of the movie last night, because reviews are starting to come out now that it's coming out next week. I'll be posting this right when it comes out. But one of the reviews I read last night specifically said like The Hills Have Eyes meets Race with the Devil. So yeah, those I think you're definitely not alone in bringing that movie out.
Cool. Oh, I wanted to mention also, again, there wasn't anything specific, but there was a fun line, the Scarface line. Is when he's going and he gets his gun, and he's like, "Hello, my little friend."
Yeah. That's so ridiculous.
yeah, exactly. But I love Scarface, so I was like, yes.
Nice. Any chance you get to get a Scarface reference, it's like, go
right.
for
it. Right.
Nice.
Right. So again, yeah, I mean, like, so much fun in so many different ways.
Sure.
But yeah.
So, if that is at the end of your list.
I also again, this will be the second time that I've brought it up. Doing one of these, and it's not Batman versus Superman, but but actually Michael Jackson's Thriller. When the creature, when she first becomes the creature, and then actually specifically when she first jumps out as the creature, totally reminded me of Thriller.
Sure. Yeah,
and I mean, I think I think Thriller is one of those just iconic things that, I mean, you can't really, and again, it ties back into horror and music as well. It's just one of those iconic things that is, even if not intentionally, that it's just sort of like leaks into things.
Yeah, we all grew up with Thriller in our minds, like every year, every Halloween, it's like the number one thing that comes in, I think, everybody's mind is Thriller.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's one of those things like Star Wars. It just leaks into everything.
Absolutely.
So like I'm sure that happens where people, directors don't even have that intention, but then they go back and they watch it and wait a second, and they see those little things like that. But again, Thriller, I was like, yeah. And again, that's another one of those things that, again, why for me this one's so much fun is that I am reminded of so many different things that I do love.
Right.
And so I imagine the filmmakers have some of the same just love that I do, and this is a product of that. It's kind of throwing all that in a blender and just kind of like pouring it out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this list that I'm going to be reading here in a second, it's quite a long list, and it's a great list. A lot of great movies. I mean, yeah, when you can have all these things on a list, I'd say you're going to hopefully come to something pretty cool,
Right.
Right. Before I read the list, any others you want to add?
The only other one that I had wrote down, I don't think I mentioned yet, was Road to Hell.
Okay.
Again, Road to Hell was a Vegas-based movie, and Michael Sue, who shot this, he shot that.
Yeah.
And the opening of this, which I thought was actually very very beautiful, the way they had shot a lot of the desert, specifically the very beginning with Tara Reid, and then also, once it actually gets into and they're on the road and they're driving on the winding road. But the whole winding road thing and the desert and everything is a lot like the opening of Road to Hell as well. So that was the only other one.
Totally. Right on. Well, with that, I am going to go ahead and do the finished puzzle, which is the list of all the movies we just mentioned. So hang in and listen to this list because it's a big one. um, we have got The Hills Have Eyes, From Dusk Till Dawn, Wrong Turn, Trauma Films, Mad Max, The Warriors, Rob Zombie Films, Queen of the Damned, Evil Dead, heavy metal album covers and music videos, Judgment Night, Requiem for a Dream, Blood Feast, the Saw series, Race with the Devil, Michael Jackson's Thriller, and Road to Hell.
Yes.
All right. Yeah,
that's an awesome list.
That is an awesome list. I mean, you put these movies together into a blender with a healthy dose of blood. You got quite a combination, man.
Right.
So, with that said, I mean, it seems pretty clear we both really enjoyed this movie, and I just want to say, since obviously that I worked on it and had music in it, I'm really happy to be able to say that I enjoyed it as much as I did. I remember when they did the premiere back in October, and as soon as it ended, I texted you and I was like, I actually loved it. Like I was not expecting to love it as much as I did, but it was like a real blast. I could totally see it playing at like a midnight screening at a festival like a Polygrind or something. And I can picture everyone just being drunk and laughing and having a good time. It's just like totally over the top.
Yeah, exactly. Over the top. That's a good description. Yeah, a lot of fun in a lot of different ways. Some silliness. We didn't even bring up like the whole nerd character, which is a total like throwback to like the Trauma movies as well. You've got I just wrote down some other things. Some of these we mentioned, but you've got cannibalism, lesbians, Satanism, orgy, sex toys.
By the way, the lesbian scene is so ridiculous when she falls and her lips are on the boob.
Yes. Yes. And then she's like, you've got something here. And she's touching her nipple. And she's like, oh, what? Is there a smudge? She's like, no, it's just a nipple. So yeah. They're on their way to Burning Man. They never make it there.
Right.
But there is an actual Burning Man in the movie.
Oh yeah. You're right.
There's the decapitation, disembowelment. I mean, lots and lots of fun stuff.
Oh, and a quick mention of my favorite scene, other than the scene that you pointed out is like Requiem for a Dream. But my favorite part is at the end when she goes, "Oh look, wolf dog," and the dog just explodes on the side.
Right. Yes.
In the theater, I actually like laughed really fucking hard at that part. It was just so random and so ridiculous.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, fun movie, Bus Party to Hell. Make sure you check it out. This was a really fun talk. Chad, you got anything you want to plug before we wrap this up?
No, not really. I'm trying to get my Twitter. I had abandoned Twitter for a while, so I'm trying to get back to Twitter and boosting it up. So, Polystaff on Twitter.
Yes.
I was going to say, if you don't like nudity, sexuality, silliness, gore, rock and roll, then just stay away from this movie.
Yeah, but at this point, they already went and rented it, so it's like too late. You put the warning at the end of the episode. Screwed that one up.
And does this come out at 4/20? Is that when this comes out? Is that right?
They actually ended up pushing it up a week. It comes out on 4/13, so I'll probably put this up right when it comes out at 4/13, or I might hold it for 4/20. I don't know. We'll see.
Regardless, Friday the 13th, and then the next week is 4/20 for Friday. This is a perfect movie for either of those.
I know, right? Absolutely. So that is Bus Party to Hell. I'm really glad we were able to do this episode for this movie, and it's exciting to see it coming out. This movie, I've had my music in a few features that have been released. On video on demand and on Blu-ray and all that kind of stuff before. But this is a really exciting launch because I think there's a really good chance that this could catch on as a really fun cult midnight type movie. Like we talked about during the conversation, it's got the blood to satisfy the blood fans, and it's got the boobs to satisfy the boobs fans, and it's genuinely funny. I definitely recommend you checking it out. Keep an ear out for my music in there. Like I said, it's over some of the big scenes. It's pretty awesome. And, we'll end this episode with I'll play the full song. And that's about it for Bus Party to Hell. It comes out on video on demand and DVD and all that April 13th. And the Mahal guys are currently working on their next movie, The Art of the Dead. They're doing a Indiegogo fundraiser, so make sure to check that out. And thanks again for listening to Piecing It Together. Remember, please subscribe to the show, whatever podcasting app you listen to podcasts on. Make sure you rate and review us. Send us some feedback. We want to know what you're thinking about the show, how you're liking it. And keep an eye out. Couple of weeks from now, I'm going to be releasing my new album, A Different Kind of Dream. So I'm going to keep promoting that with the next episode. But for now, here's the theme song from Bus Party to Hell.